Oh, I'm waking up again at 2 a.m. Why? Get up slowly and face the wall. Who said that? Who said that?
Right. Up slowly and face that wall.
You know, I wake up sometimes like this, and I swear, I'm not exaggerating, I don't know where I am.
I couldn't figure something out when couldn't figure out why drivers parked nose in on parking spaces like I am now. I thought it was just for because they were just too lazy to back the truck in. And then it occurred to me, if you don't want to sleep next to like a sleep next to an engine or an APU running all night, it's much quieter. You don't have to sleep next to that if you park nose in. So it's a little tip I've learned. It took me a long time to figure that one out. Goodness gracious. Okay, so 4:44 a.m. Eastern Time. I just came within inches of taking out a deer. Yes, I almost killed Bambi on the road. It would have been an accident. But I was able to avoid it. Because there was no traffic in either lane, so I managed to just slightly get out of the way. But it was pretty close. It really was. I really thought I was going to hit it. I'm going to pull a video, have the safety department pull a video so I can share with you all. But you got to be careful of those. The thing is, ladies and gentlemen, if you're in that situation and there's traffic on either side of you, or if you're just not in a good mood or you want to try something new, just drive right through the deer. Drive right through. I'm sorry, that's terrible. No, but you have to sometimes, seriously, because I'm not advising that you intentionally hit deer. That's ridiculous. But if it's unavoidable, you have to do it. You're gonna have to take out Bambi, and it's nasty. I've only done it once. It creates a big splatter and fragments go everywhere. Sometimes the antlers or the head will get caught in the grill or the deer guard. These particular trucks don't have deer guards, so I haven't tried that yet. Don't plan on it, don't want to, but it does happen. So, like I said, folks, if there's traffic on either side of you, or if it's unsafe, you're going to have to go through the deer. In this scenario, as you will see, I was able to avoid it, just barely. It's a Filipino-Australian guy that I know. He was telling me a story about, he's a Filipino guy, like he looks Filipino, but he has an Australian accent. It's kind of a trip. Anyway, they're out there. They got a population of those people. Anyway, he was telling me that he was on a freeway, and he's seen this in Australia, like truck drivers pulling double and triple trailers. He's seen them just plow through kangaroos, like boom, 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 boom. Like he's had multiple kangaroos. And I guess that's what you deal with there down under. You get the kangaroos, man. Now, as far as I can tell, I've seen them at the zoo, kangaroos. They're quite large. They're much larger than deer. So I'm thinking like, geez. And I'm not a kangaroo expert. I imagine they vary in size, but the ones I've seen, they're quite huge. So if the truck can take out a kangaroo, you can take out a deer, kids. Don't fear the kangaroo or deer. Just go right through them if you have to. Only if you have to. Hi, everybody. Well, it's 7:30 and we've gone about 250 miles. We're approaching Tennessee. Soon, we'll be in Knoxville. Knoxville's famous for many things, but I'm just going to talk about the things I like about it, I guess. Because I guess it's like my video, that's what I'm supposed to do. Anyway, there's a preacher there, real hardcore Baptist preacher. He's a bit on the fringe, I think, in his own denomination. I don't know if that's the right word to use. I don't want to put him out there, not in a negative way. It's just he's real, I guess, fundamental, I think, to the best of his sincere ability. So I guess he's a little bit maybe controversial, and even to some of his fellow Baptists. Maybe, I could be wrong. But anyway, he talks about some real interesting things. I had the honor to meet him once. So yeah, here we are in Tennessee, folks. 3 hours after the deer incident. And I'm going to try to think of something more positive to talk about. Woo! Oh yeah, it's a little bit cloudy, but I'm sure it'll clear up later. Okay. That's enough for now. So yeah, safety is important, guys, because that deer could have been something else. Could have been a person. Could have been something, you know. You got to be mindful of these things, and forgive me for sounding negative. I hope I'm not being negative, but you know, you got to be safety conscious all the time. You really do. I was driving New Year's Day once, and these are just like random things that can happen on the road over time, you know. And it was one of these like really narrow, non-wide shoulders on the freeway, and just out of nowhere, like this drifter guy, maybe a homeless man. I mean, he looked like he was not in a good condition. You know, he looked depressed or something. I got a weird vibe. I can pick up a lot on a person just by like, you know, you pick up a vibes just looking at somebody, and it wasn't good. I felt really bad for him. It was sad, but it was just like, it was just quickly like, it was too close for comfort, you know. And it makes you wonder if he was there to jump in the road or something crazy, you know. Oh, anyway, folks, you got to be safety conscious, but you can't like live your life or your career in a state of like neurotic paranoia either. I mean, you have to have faith. You have to pray and believe in a higher power, because you can't control everything, you know. You can do the best you can, but you can't control all the variables of life, you know, the universe. I talk to some of these guys, and like, you know, I don't like brag about safety record. I mean, the past is past, right? I mean, some of these guys are like, yeah, I haven't had an accident in 10, 20 years, but I mean, that can all change tomorrow. Not the sort of thing I like to brag about personally, but it's good to be whatever, you know. Yeah, safety's moment by moment, folks. So you never let your guard down. All right, I talked to this guy though, 30 years into it. He had tattoos like on his neck and face. Real rough looking character. I just got back from one of my tours overseas, and I don't know, I met him in the warehouse. He was kind of like, he was asking me how long I drove, and I told him like 4 years. And he's like, oh, you thought I was like new or something, which I am compared to longer term drivers, you know, but I was just telling him frankly what I'm just saying kind of now, like just how I'm like, you know, I'm still thinking about safety stuff, and he's one of these guys. He's like, no, not me. I don't worry about stuff like that. I was like, oh, you don't worry about safety? You don't think that's a good thing to think about? And he's like, no, I'm always in control. I'm always in control. I said, you're always in control, so you you are like some sort of deity, like you're a god, you control the weather patterns and you control other people, is what you're saying. And he goes, always in control. I said, okay, that's good. I don't know, I guess different people have different mentalities, but I don't know the man's driving record. But just be mindful of other people. I mean, that's the best thing I could say, you know, like it's another human being, it's somebody's family member, it's somebody's son, brother, husband. These are people, folks. You don't go out on the road like with an attitude. You don't use your vehicle as like a freedom of expression. You know, it's not your right to express yourself emotionally with your vehicle by driving aggressively or doing stupid things or putting other people in danger. It's really bad. I mean, it's bad. I mean, stuff like that is that's real criminal, you know. I mean, I could tell stories later, but I've seen things that are like, I mean, not everybody, you know, driving's like a privilege, man. Like they say, it's not a right. You don't have the right to drive. It is a privilege, so you have to respect it. But the most important thing is being mindful of the others on the road. You know, following distance, space, looking ahead, looking around you, always scanning. I mean, you can't just cruise idly as a driver and fixate on like one thing, so to speak. You know, you have to stay active. Even mentally, you have to find ways to keep yourself mentally occupied. Okay, anyway, we can talk more about that in another video. I gotta finish my break. I took a little nap earlier because I kind of got tired, you know. Sometimes I'll pull over and sleep for like 30 minutes, do a power nap. Sometimes I'll exercise. Actually, I usually exercise like four or 5 days a week on the road. Try to do that. I'm gonna stop in Nashville, I think, tonight. Good stopping place. Well, hey everybody. Well, that wraps up another episode of Just a Driver. I'm your host. And even after the deer incident, which we missed, we made it safely to our stop. We drove 554 miles today, so it was a successful day. Folks, remember, truck driving is a legitimate professional profession. It's not just a last-ditch hope for the American uneducated working class looking to make a middle-class income so they can buy in with the Joneses. No, 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 no. Truck driving, in fact, attracts people from all sorts of backgrounds. You can see some of these people on YouTube, for instance. It can be fun, exotic, challenging, and it can be beautiful. It can be stimulating if you make it. It's what you make everything in life, folks. If you have a bad attitude, you're going to have a bad career. That's just the way it goes. And remember the other thing. If you live long enough to cash out your 401k, you're considered a success in this industry. All right, I'm done. Turn the camera off.